Иди!
The Ukrainian soldiers were deep into their mission, moving to clear out enemy positions along the front line. Everything was going according to plan until the Russians spotted their movement. Within seconds, the enemy reacted. Russian howitzers opened fire, launching heavy shells directly toward the Ukrainian APC. The first round landed just meters away, shaking the ground but missing the vehicle. A few more shots were also fired from different angles. But they also missed too. Despite several attempts, the Russians failed to land a direct hit, and the APC eventually broke out of the artillery strike zone. But just when the soldiers thought they were safe, a new threat approached. A Russian FPV drone locked onto the APC and came speeding in low, trying to strike the vehicle from behind. The Ukrainian soldiers reacted instantly. They opened fire with rifles. In a split-second moment, their shots connected. The drone exploded in the air, falling to the ground before it could reach its target. The Ukrainian soldiers reached their position safely. On the way, one soldier spotted a Russian reconnaissance drone in the area. He quickly aimed and fired, bringing the drone down with a single precise shot. This footage was shared by the 3rd Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian Ground Forces. Full credit goes to their official channel, and the link to their channel is provided in the description. Make sure to check out their channel for the original content.
Чисто? Все, плюс! Базар, чисто!
The soldiers reached their hide point with their ammo, and the first wave was sent forward to engage the Russian soldiers.
Давай. Все, берем, затягуємося.
At the same time, those at the safe point launched a drone to give coordinates to their comrades on the front line.
Мужчини, агов, увага! Справа знайшли цель, Браво готовиться прямо зараз проводить зачистку.
They located the enemy and immediately opened fire.
Давай, вампір ріж. Йома вже почти біля цели.
Так работает настоящий тигр. Сначала дрон, а потом пехота. Кину. Есть. Сейчас бабах.
While also calling on them to surrender.
Давай, подходь. Давай, там на...
Within seconds, one Russian soldier was taken down. A few more were hiding in an underground position.
Кину гранату.
The Ukrainians threw grenades and fired multiple rounds. Once one soldier was confirmed dead, the team moved in to check the body and search for any maps, radios, or communication devices to understand the enemy's next plan. They secured the body and began circling the enemy positions to maintain control.
Это есть. Да все, я... Все, надо займать укриття. Що ти заникався?
During this, they found another Russian soldier who said he was from Azerbaijan and did not want to fight.
Спереді від вас, метрів 15-20 за жмуром, зліва в кусті, там де зараз Авата, є ще одне укриття,
Скинь, ствол, блядь! Та мені по, хто ти, давай викидай все на. Викидай, друже, все на.
The Ukrainian soldiers instructed him to surrender, and he dropped his weapon. He explained that he was only trying to survive and was injured.
А якого хуя ти робиш, ти кацап?
Нет, я вам против вас, я просто выживаю.
Лежи, не бійся, ніхто тебе трогати не буде.
Despite being over 50 years old, the Ukrainians showed him mercy, taking him to their underground position.
Виживай, виживай. Яко ти сюди прийшов? Держи. Виживай. Да. Ну давай, вали. Вали.
Сколько лет тебе? 50 лет, ты дед старый. Что ты сюда приехал?
Giving him food, water, and medical attention,
Не упади только.
and promising he would be able to return to his life safely.
Всі знають, що ми взяли п'я. Зараз береш всю браво, перетягуєш ось, дивись, і починаєте рухатися вперед.
After handing over the first captured soldier to their base, the Ukrainian soldiers moved forward for the next attack. On the way, they called for nearby Russian soldiers to surrender, but the Russians threw a grenade and a brief firefight broke out.
Выходи, сдавайся! Выходи! Можливо, я бачу його.
Despite this, the Ukrainians captured another Russian soldier who revealed the location of his comrades. He claimed he had been lost on the ground, but the Ukrainian forces managed to secure the others as well.
Ти откуда прийшов? Яке укриття ближайше? Оттуда?
Оттуда йшов сюди? Да. А куди йшов?
Оттуда, в ту сторону, пацанам води.
Ти просто гуляєш?
Потерялся. Везде стреляют.
А що ти хотіли? За ту сторону воюєш.
As they advanced, they spotted a Russian drone on the road and quickly neutralized it with gunfire.
Давай, есть FPV. Давай!
Soon after, multiple Russian FPV drones attacked, trying to strike the advancing Ukrainians. But they skillfully dodged the strikes while continuing their mission.
Иди сюда! До там.
Using information from the captured soldiers, they located another hidden Russian position.
Здавайся!
Two soldiers were inside and initially resisted surrender.
Зближаємося! Ага, зближаємося! Дивлюсь право! Хорошо, заходь!
The Russians threw grenades from their basement, but eventually, one soldier came out, threw down his weapon, and convinced his comrade to surrender as well.
Смотри, уже нету ваших многих живых. Сейчас очень хорошо подумай, есть кто-то там? Да или нет?
Он 200.
Кто 200?
Там лежит 200.
Должен быть, да, 200, потому что я его звал, ну...
These soldiers were injured days earlier with severe wounds. The Ukrainians secured them and promised to return them safely.
Виходи! Ти здаєшся?
Не будемо убивать, давай! Давай, выходи!
О, все, не стреляй!
Найду, закину гранату!
Не стреляй!
У тебя выбора нету!
Вторую показал, быстро! Спрашиваю еще раз, есть кто-то? Выходи!
Вышел!
Выводи его, выводи!
Thanks in part to the cover provided by their Baba Yaga drones. They told that they got hit by Ukrainian Baba Yaga drone and get injured but managed to survive the attack earlier.
Самое, это ранее уже 4 дня или 5.
А чем ты это?
Баба Яга. ТМ-ка.
То кістка отобіли?
Нет.
Нет,
То гной плюс.
части кожи и гной.
Да. Сухожилия.
Да.
Так, все, мужчини, давайте, собрались і додому поїдемо.
The Ukrainian soldiers continued moving forward through a nearby abandoned village and discovered 4 more Russian soldiers hiding in an underground base.
Я туда. Давай. Аккуратно.
Тут подвал. Банка!
The soldiers, already injured and weak, surrendered without resistance. 2 of them came out immediately, while the other 2 were severely malnourished and trapped in the basement.
Спрятался, голова. Что там? Стой.
Подівлі в підвалі. 2 кріпака. Скільки?
Ні, там 4 или 5 их.
Давай.
Мы уже всех в колонку.
Отмена.
Сюда иди, в комнату быстро.
Спустился.
The Ukrainian soldiers quickly gained their trust and escorted them back to their base.
За тобой, Лени, пішли. Вы какие-то уставшие, что такое? Не вывозите войну?
Бачу віконки, ви вірите в Бога, да? Вірите ж, да? Може це ваш шанс вижити, не здохнути такою смертю за свій пташку. Условия у нас нормальні, ніхто вас платити не буде, якщо ми вас хотіли вас убити, ви вже б зробили це. Хто не захотів здатися, здох. Ви зробили свій вибір, дали себе нормально.
These captured soldiers may later be used in prisoner exchanges. This operation was a success, thanks to the careful planning and execution of the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. Meanwhile, the Russian soldiers planned another assault and, before moving out, recorded a video showing their preparations. They appeared confident and excited, believing this attack would succeed.
Штурмовики специально тренировались вести огонь на ходу. Правая рука на руле, в левой автомат.
This time, they decided to use quad bikes and motorcycles to quickly transport soldiers to the front line. As the quad bikes moved forward at high speed toward the trench line, 2 soldiers were riding on each vehicle. Along the route, they passed several destroyed vehicles, clear signs of earlier failed assaults. Despite this warning, they continued advancing without slowing down. At one point, they slightly moved off the road, likely trying to avoid mines, and then returned back onto the track. What they did not realize was that the area was already heavily mined by Ukrainian forces. First, an FPV drone dropped a munition near one of the bikes, but it narrowly survived. Just moments later, the bike hit a mine, triggering a massive explosion and instantly destroying it. Even after witnessing their comrades being hit, the remaining bikers kept moving forward. Ukrainian FPV drones then dropped more munitions, striking another bike and stopping the assault almost immediately.
Ты чё въёбываешься в меня, блядь? Разбегаемся быстрее! Да ты его еблаешь, что ли, нахуй?
Within seconds, more drone strikes followed, causing further casualties on the ground.
Давай, вставай быстрее!
While several Russian soldiers were eliminated, a few managed to escape and ran toward nearby abandoned houses, trying to hide and survive the attack. The Ukrainian soldiers moved carefully through the area, knowing Russian troops were already hiding nearby. They advanced quickly but stayed alert. Soon, they identified an underground position where Russian soldiers were sheltering. The Ukrainians ordered them to come out and surrender. The Russians claimed they were injured.
Парни, смотрите! Есть 2 варианта. Либо мы вас убиваем, либо вы сдаетесь. 10 секунд до раздумия! Либо вы сдаетесь, либо мы вас убиваем. Нас 8 человек. 5 секунд. 2 секунды. Быстрее!
But instead of surrendering, they threw a grenade.
Граната!
That decision changed everything. After that, the Ukrainian soldiers stopped negotiations. They began throwing grenades one after another into the underground hideout while maintaining constant fire on the position, preventing anyone from escaping or returning fire.
Я стреляю.
In just a few moments, more than 8 grenades were used, completely neutralizing the position.
Живий? Вилазь! Стоп, я быстрее.
Before we move on to the next assault, just take a moment to hit like and subscribe. It really helps us keep going. And also you can show your support to us by giving a super thanks. Now, back to the battlefield. During the engagement, a Russian FPV drone appeared overhead. One Ukrainian soldier quickly aimed and shot it down with just 2 precise shots.
Я в FPV як прийняв.
Once the area was secured, Ukrainian soldiers cautiously moved in and found the body of a Russian soldier who had refused to surrender. The Ukrainian soldiers continued moving carefully and soon discovered another basement, but they were unsure whether anyone was hiding inside. They ordered whoever was inside to surrender, but there was no response. They repeated the call, yet the basement remained silent. To test it, one Ukrainian soldier fired a few shots into the entrance. Moments later, return fire came from inside, confirming that Russian soldiers were hiding there. With their position confirmed, the Ukrainians acted immediately. The first grenade was thrown, followed by another explosion. The area around the basement was fully covered to prevent any escape. More grenades followed, including one with a larger explosive charge.
Не знаю, може вони вмерли, типа, хто знає, ну звідти пулемет работав.
After several detonations, the firing stopped. When Ukrainian soldiers cautiously moved in to clear the basement, they found 2 Russian soldiers already dead inside. Their bodies were checked, and it was confirmed that they had refused to surrender and were killed during the explosions.
Двоє.
Чисто. Дыхать там невозможно. В подвале 2 подтвержденных тела.
With the position secured, the unit moved on, continuing to clear nearby houses.
Я понял, свобода.
Soon after, another basement was discovered. Once again, the Ukrainians ordered the soldiers inside to stop, but instead enemy soldiers started firing. A grenade was thrown into the basement, causing a powerful explosion. Afterward, the Ukrainians again called for surrender, but the Russian soldiers still refused and prepared to fight. At this point, another brief battle began. However, with superior positioning and greater numbers, the Ukrainian soldiers quickly took control. Another grenade was thrown into the basement, ending the resistance and securing the area before the unit moved forward to continue the operation. The Ukrainian soldiers were still not fully sure whether the Russian soldier inside the basement was dead. They waited for a few minutes, staying alert. Soon after, they noticed the strong smell of blood, which confirmed that the soldier had died inside. This footage was shared by the Azov Brigade of the Ukrainian Ground Forces. Full credit goes to their official channel, and the link to their channel is provided in the description. Make sure to check out their channel for the original content. After securing the area, they continued moving carefully and then discovered a Ukrainian civilian hiding underground.
Хто такий? Громадянство України присутні? Чого не виїжджаєш? Тут 3.
The man was extremely frightened and had been sheltering there for safety.
Бачив? Ні, нікого не бачу. Телефон є? Включений? Ну там зв'язку нет ніяк. В підвалі хто? Дінькає? Точно? Зараз підеш покажеш. Як ти звати? Мене Роман. Валера, збираєш речі зараз? Збираєш речі. Чекаєш, ми сьогодні тебе вивозимо. Ти прийняв? Медичну допомогу не дадуть, а ну стой, сломано кажеш. Болить? Ні, розтяження.
The Ukrainian soldiers provided the civilian with medical aid after learning that one of his hands was broken. He explained that he was injured during a Russian attack back in September. The soldiers treated his wounds on the spot and made sure he was stable. After that, they escorted the civilians out of the danger zone and took them with the unit to a safer location. They were told to leave the area for their own safety, and the soldiers explained that the government would help them with housing, work, and other necessary support once they were evacuated.
Хто захотів, ти сьогодні виїхав. По факту, так. Хто не хоче, остаються. Ми не можемо сили вивозити. Люди сьогодні захотіли, сьогодні виїжджають. Все нормально? Водички можна.
This is the raw reality of the modern battlefield, not only the fighting itself, but what remains after the fighting moves on. Across many parts of Ukraine, entire residential areas have been left damaged or abandoned. Houses are no longer places to live in. They are broken structures, exposed to weather, shelling, and long-term damage.
Все, плюс, продовжуємо. Друга група работає чи ні?
Streets still exist, but normal life does not. Electricity, water systems, and roads are destroyed or unreliable. These areas are no longer functional towns. They are former living spaces caught inside a war zone. As military operations move through these areas, abandoned houses are often used as temporary positions.
Мужики, виходимо. Біжить.
Civilian buildings become part of the battlefield. Basements, rooms, and empty structures are used for cover, storage, or movement. This turns residential zones into high-risk areas even after direct fighting slows down.
Своя.
For civilians who refuse or are unable to leave, daily life becomes extremely limited. Many are forced to stay underground for long periods of time. Movement above ground is dangerous. Any sound in the sky or distance can signal shelling, drones, or nearby fighting.
Я в піві як прийняв. Вони, походу, всі вмерли.
There is no clear separation between civilian space and military space anymore. But the danger does not end when fighting stops. After the war, repopulating these areas became one of the hardest challenges.
Я понял, субота. Я тебе теж дуже сильно люблю, субота.
Large parts of land are contaminated with thousands of mines, unexploded shells, rockets, and missiles. Many of these explosives were fired years earlier and never detonated.
Медицина. Ова, тут щось є.
Some are buried deep. Others are hidden under rubble, roads, or inside buildings.
Треба зробити нормально. Підніми.
Even more dangerous is the fact that not all mines can be detected. Some explosive devices cannot be easily found using standard mine detectors. This makes clearing land slow, expensive, and extremely risky. One wrong step can still be fatal, even long after the war has ended. There are also the remains of soldiers from both sides scattered across these areas. Recovering bodies, identifying them, and safely clearing locations becomes a painful and complex task. These sites cannot simply be reopened to civilians without long and careful operations. Because of this, many towns may remain empty for years. Even if infrastructure is rebuilt, the ground itself is unsafe. Fields cannot be farmed, roads cannot be trusted, homes cannot be entered freely. Repopulation becomes not just a housing issue, but a life-threatening problem. For governments, clearing these areas requires massive resources, time, and manpower. For civilians, returning means living with constant risk. Every step, every repair, every attempt to rebuild carries danger. This is how war reshapes civilian life.
Я понял, суббота.
Not only through destruction during the fighting, but through long-term danger that continues afterward. Homes remain standing but unusable.
Все, плюс, продолжим. Друга группа работает, чи нет?
Towns exist but cannot function. Life does not return easily, and in some places, it may never return at all. This is the lasting impact of modern warfare on normal people.